in black and white. The world didn't lose its color all at once. There was no explosion, no warning sirens, no moment where people stopped and said, "This is it." It happened quietly, like dust settling. At first, no one noticed. A red apple looked slightly duller. A blue sky seemed a little less vibrant. Sunsets still drew crowds, but fewer people reached for their phones. "It's just the lighting," they said. "It's pollution. It's your screen settings." There was always an explanation until there wasn't. The first person to truly notice was a painter. She had spent her entire life chasing color, mixing it, studying it, obsessing over it. She knew the difference between crimson and scarlet, the way others knew their own names. One morning, she opened her studio window to paint the sunrise and paused. Her brush hovered mid-air. The sky wasn't right. It wasn't orange. It wasn't pink. It was gray. At first, she thought she was tired. She rubbed her eyes, blinked, looked again. Still gray, flat, lifeless, like someone had drained the world through a filter. She ran outside barefoot, heart racing, searching for something, anything with color. Flowers, gray. Cars, gray. People's clothes, all shades of charcoal. Even her own hands looked wrong. She screamed, not because the world had changed, but because no one else reacted. People walked past her like everything was normal. They checked their watches, scrolled their phones, laughed. "How can you not see this?" she begged. They looked at her with concern. "See what?" Within weeks it spread. More people began to notice. News stations ran segments. Color perception disorder on the rise. Mass hysteria or neurological phenomenon. Scientists were brought in. Tests were conducted. Brains were scanned. Eyes were examined. And yet, everything appeared normal. Technically, color still existed. Light still reflected at different wavelengths. Objects still held their properties. But the human mind had stopped interpreting it. It didn't take long for panic to settle in. Artists stopped creating. Designers lost their purpose. Fashion became irrelevant. Children stopped drawing rainbows because no one remembered what they looked like. At first, people tried to recreate it. They labeled everything. This is red. This is blue. This is green. But without seeing it, the words became meaningless. Like trying to describe music to someone who had never heard sound. Society adapted. Of course it did. It always does. Traffic lights changed position instead of color. Labels replaced visual cues. Technology shifted to patterns, symbols, contrast. Black, white, everything in between. Life became simpler, but also emptier. The painter stopped painting, at least for a while. Her canvases sat untouched, collecting dust in a silent studio that once pulsed with life. What was the point? Without color, her work felt like a lie, a memory she couldn't reach. But one day, something changed. She was cleaning, or trying to, going through old boxes, old sketches, old pieces of herself, and she found it. A painting she had made years ago. A field, wildflowers stretching endlessly under a golden sky. She stared at it, longer than she meant to, because something stirred. She couldn't see the colors, not really, not the way she used to, but she remembered them, faintly, like a dream slipping through her fingers. The flowers weren't just grey, they felt different. Some seemed warmer, others cooler. Some almost hummed with a memory of brightness. Her breath caught. What if color wasn't gone? What if it was just forgotten? That night, she picked up a brush for the first time in months. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from hope. She began to paint, not what she could see, but what she remembered. A sky not grey, but vast. A sun not white, but glowing. A field not dull, but alive. It didn't look like much. To anyone else, it was just another grayscale painting. Shadows and light, contrast and depth. But to her, it felt different. She kept going, day after day, painting from memory, from feeling, from something deeper than sight. And then, something impossible happened. A child walked into her studio, no older than 6, silent, curious, drawn in by something they couldn't explain. They stared at the painting, tilted their head, and whispered, "Why does it look warm?" The painter froze. "Warm?" she repeated. The child nodded, pointing at a section of the canvas. "I don't know why, but it feels like sunshine." Her heart pounded. "Can you see it?" she asked softly. The child hesitated. "Not really," they said, "but I think I can remember it." And just like that, everything changed. Word spread, slowly at first, then all at once. People began visiting the studio, standing in silence before her paintings. Some felt nothing, just shades of grey, flat, empty. But others paused. I don't know why, but this part feels cold. This reminds me of something I can't explain. I think this used to be blue. It wasn't sight, not exactly. It was something else. Memory, emotion, connection. The painter realized something profound. Color had never just been visual. It was emotional. experiential, deeply human. And while the eyes had forgotten, the soul hadn't. So she painted more, larger canvases, bolder compositions, scenes filled with contrast, not just of light and dark, but of feeling. Others began to follow. Artists emerged, not painting what they saw, but what they felt. A movement was born. They called it the remembering. Workshops were held. People gathered to sit with paintings, to feel them, to reconnect with something they thought was lost forever. Children adapted the fastest. Of course they did. They hadn't spent as long relying on sight alone. They described things in ways adults had forgotten. This one sounds loud. This feels like laughing. This reminds me of rain. And slowly, the world began to shift. Not back to what it was, but into something new. A place where color wasn't just seen, but felt. Years passed. The world remained black and white. Technically, but something had changed. People smiled more, paused more, connected more deeply with the world around them. Because without the distraction of color, they noticed everything else. Texture, light, shadow, emotion. And in that simplicity, they found something unexpected. Beauty. The painter grew older, her hands less steady, her movements slower. But she never stopped. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, grey as always, she sat in her studio, surrounded by decades of work. A young woman approached her, a student. "Do you think we'll ever get color back?" she asked. The painter smiled softly. "I don't think it ever left," she said. The student frowned. "But we can't see it." "No," the painter agreed. "But we can feel it, and sometimes that's even stronger." She gestured to the paintings around them. "Color was never just something we looked at," she continued. "It was something we experienced." The student looked around at the canvases, at the shadows and light, at the invisible spectrum hidden between them. And for a moment, she understood. The world didn't need to be restored. It needed to be reimagined. And maybe, just maybe, it was more beautiful this way. Because now, every shade of grey held a secret, and every person held the power to bring color back, not to the world, but to each other. If you're still here with me, thank you. That story in black and white is one of those pieces that sits with you for a while. And I thought it would be the perfect mood while I worked on this piece right here. I've limited myself to only 2 colors, black and white. No pigment, no glitter overload, no bright distractions, just contrast. And honestly, it felt really fitting. Because while I was telling that story, I kept thinking about how much we rely on color, not just in the world, but in our art. We reach for the brightest micas, the boldest pigments, the ones that pop. But today I wanted to strip it all back. So here's what I'm using. A deep black mica and a soft white mica. And that's it. What I love about working like this is it forces you to focus on everything else. Flow, movement, balance, the way the resin folds into itself, the way the colors interact without actually needing color. So as I've poured this, you'll notice I didn't rush, just letting the resin do its thing. Because black and white can either look really elegant or really muddy very quickly. So I layered it gently and just guiding it rather than controlling it. And this part right here, this is probably my favorite, when the black starts to drift into the white. Not mixing completely, just dancing along the edges. It kind of reminds me of the story, that moment where everything wasn't fully lost, just blurred. And I think that's what I love most about limited palettes. They make you feel more because you're not overwhelmed by choices. You start noticing the tiny details, the softness of the white, the depth of the black, the contrast between the two. It's simple, but it's not boring. And honestly, I think sometimes as creators, we forget that. We think more color equals better, more detail, better, more everything. But sometimes less is what makes people pause. So I'd love to know what you think about the story and about this piece. Did the story make you feel something? Did you picture the colors even though they weren't there? And do you like working in black and white? Or are you a full on color lover? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely read them all and I love hearing how you experience these videos. And if you did enjoy this one, whether it was the story, the process, or just the vibe, don't forget to like the video. It really helps more people find my content. And if you're new here, hi! I'm Valerie. I make videos like this all the time, mixing storytelling with resin art, experimenting with techniques, and just enjoying the creative process. So that it sounds like your thing, I'd love for you to subscribe and join me. I've also popped a playlist down in the description box for you. So if you want to keep watching, binge a little, and show some love, it's all there. So as you can see, the black has started to create these really soft, smoky patterns through the white, almost like ink in water. And this is the stage where you just kind of have to trust it because once it cures, those details really come through. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's now cured and I'm going to show you the final reveal. For now, I'm really happy with how this is looking. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.